Hello everyone, Sam Taylor here, Cancer Cure Bus, filming from Omaha, Nebraska. Today's episode is episode 30, Outliers, the kind of people we want on our bus. So the last few episodes I shared with you some of the key principles behind Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. Jim Collins is one of my favorite business authors. Another of my favorite business authors is a gentleman named Malcolm Gladwell, who's written many best-selling books. His first big bestseller was The Tipping Point. You may have read that book or heard of that book, The Tipping Point. One of my favorites of his other books is called Outliers, The Story of Success. And in this book, what Mr. Gladwell did is he took a look at individuals who in their respective fields were exceptional. And it could have been in fields of science, technology, music, the arts. And he identified these exceptional people that were successful and studied their lives and tried to identify what were some of the common characteristics they had, looking at their upbringing. Were there things that he could identify that maybe some of the secrets of their success or how they turned into what he calls these outliers that were just so exceptional in their field, they just stood out above everyone else. Some examples from his book, the Beatles. So he identifies the Beatles as outliers in the area of performing arts. And he talks about how they became outliers. Another person he identifies as an outlier is Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft. And he talks about how Bill Gates became an outlier. And you could say a technology outlier, and then eventually a wealth outlier. Because along with Warren Buffett, Bill Gates is one of the wealthiest individuals in the world. And so he talks about Bill Gates as an outlier. And in this book, he outlines a key principle, and it's called the 10,000 hour rule. And one of the things they identified of all these individuals they looked at, these outliers, there's one thing that they had in common, and it is how he came up with the 10,000 hour rule. And the 10,000 hour rule is this. What Malcolm Gladwell discovered was in any kind of area that requires cognitive skills, that is cognitively complex, such as learning to play the violin or playing chess or becoming a neurosurgeon, any kind of endeavor that requires a lot of cognitive work and is cognitively complex, to be exceptional and successful in that area, you need at least 10,000 hours of practice. So that's the 10,000 hour rule. If you practice and do something for 10,000 hours, you can be an expert at it. 10,000 hours, just so you can kind of get a feeling for how much time is that, that's the equivalent of 4 hours a day of practice for 10 years. So if you decide, I want to become a concert violinist, you can if for 10 years you practice 4 hours a day. If you want to become a world grandmaster chess champion, 4 hours a day for 10 years. If you want to become a neurosurgeon. And so that's the 10,000 hour rule. And why it applies to the Cancer Cure Bus is outliers are the types of people we want on our Cure Bus. And not everybody has to be an outlier, but we want as many outliers as we can get. And what we want to pull together is a team of outliers that are all level 5 leaders. So going back to Good to Great, got to be a level 5 leader to be on the bus. But we also want outliers across multiple fields. We want outliers in the fields of science, medicine, technology. Outliers in the area of wealth, because it takes charitable giving to help fund some of this cancer research. And the last piece is faith outliers. We want faith outliers. We talked about in Good to Great the principle of confront the brutal facts, yet never lose faith. So faith plays a role in this. And if you think about different individuals, somebody like a Bill Gates, absolutely, would we want him on our bus? Absolutely. He's a technology outlier with his experience building Microsoft. He's a wealth outlier. Warren Buffett is another individual who I'd say is a wealth outlier. There's other science and technology, medicine outliers, individuals that I've met through my experience with my journey over the last 10 months. And also as I've done a lot of research and reading, people that have come onto my radar screen that I think would be great to be on the bus. And then, like I said, the last piece, faith outliers. And that's where I fit in. I don't qualify to be a technology or science or medicine or wealth outlier, but I do qualify, I feel, to be a faith outlier. And I'll talk about that in an upcoming episode, my rationale for that. But I think it's important that we also have some faith outliers on the bus, because as we know, faith is a big part of this, of finding a cure. And so that's the approach that we'll be taking with Cancer Cure Bus, is assembling this team. Who we want on the bus? We want level 5 leaders who are outliers, as many as possible. With that strong of a team, I'm confident that we will be able to find cures for these cancers. So for all you cancer warriors, the message remains the same. Keep your faith. Stay strong. You will find peace, and you will be victorious. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to Cancer Cure Bus. And thanks for spreading the word, for sharing with your friends, colleagues, others that have been impacted by this dread disease, that you feel this may help provide hope, inspiration. That's the goal of Cancer Cure Bus. So thank you for sharing.